Welcome to part 3 of my Empire Race Guide. In this section we'll be talking about the lords and heroes that are available to the Empire, what they can do for you in campaign as well as battle. Disclaimer, this guide is based on my personal experience and opinions and is by no means the definitive way to play the Empire. If you have a different strategy or want to add something to mine, please leave a comment down below. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. The Empire at this point have only one faction you can play as, unlike the Vampires who now have 3, links in the card to a video about that. So no matter what lord you choose, you'll have the same starting location and everything that goes with it. First up is Karl Franz.
Empire's blessings, yes.
Contrary to popular belief, he can't actually summon the elect accounts, but he is a pretty cool guy anyway. Choosing him as your faction leader will grant you plus 10 diplomatic relations with Empire provinces, plus 10 campaign movement range, minus 15% upkeep for Rights Guard and Great Swords, and plus 2 to Lord Recruit rank. In battle, all units in his army gain plus 8 leadership, and he starts with halberds, handgunners, and Rights Guard. He has the abilities Hold the Line, Foe Seeker, and Stand Your Ground, and he has 4 options for mounts: a Warhorse, a Barded Warhorse, an Imperial Pegasus, and a Deathclaw. He is armoured and deals armour-piercing damage, so can take on even elite units and can hold his own quite well. He's also a duelist, so is best used for targeting enemy lords and heroes to take them one-on-one. Overall, he's pretty strong in battle and gives your faction some nice bonuses in campaign, so he's a great choice for beginner players. Balthasar Gelt is next.
The nation calls.
Choosing him will grant your faction plus 10 armour to all units, add 2 to your battle wizard capacity, and minus 25% to the upkeep of battle wizards. In battle, he reduces the cost of Law of Metal spells by 20%, adds 10% missile damage to artillery units, and will grant any wizard recruited to his army plus 2 rank. His starting army has great swords, a mortar, and some outriders, and he has the abilities Evasion, Metal Shifting, and Arcane Conduit. He has 3 choices of mount: a Warhorse, a Barded Warhorse, and Quicksilver. He is the only lord that is a spellcaster in the Empire, so is best kept out of battle so he can support his units with magic from range. There's not much to be said other than, as with most spellcasters, he only gets good later in the game, so don't be surprised at the start when he's not really offering anything to your armies. The third and final faction leader you can choose is Volkmar the Grim.
The righteous hammer of Sigmar.
He was added in the Grim the Grave DLC from Warhammer 1 and is, in my opinion, the worst option to lead the Empire. Choosing him will grant your faction plus 20% to magic item drop chance, plus 30% to weapon strength for flagellants, plus 2 to warrior priest recruit rank, and minus 30% upkeep for flagellants. Now if you remember my previous video, link in the card, you may remember me saying flagellants are pretty useless, so you may be thinking choosing this lord makes them viable, and you'd be right. But think about it. Is it worth losing out on vastly better faction bonuses for the sake of making one unit viable in battle? The short version is hell no. Continues as well, as in his army, flagellants gain plus 30% replenishment rate, plus 14 melee defense, and plus 12 physical resistance. His entire character is based off one unit, and to me it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, his abilities are Benediction, Divine Power, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Soulfire. He has the choice between 3 mounts: a Warhorse, a Barded Warhorse, and the War Altar of Sigmar. Finally, he has the ability to cast battle prayers, which are basically weaker spells to buff your troops in battle. Now onto the non-legendary lords, starting with the General of the Empire. Obviously these guys have no faction bonuses to talk about, so we'll go quickly as we still have a lot to talk about. They have the abilities Hold the Line, Foe Seeker, and Stand Your Ground, as well as 4 options for a mount: Warhorse, Barded Warhorse, an Imperial Pegasus, and an Imperial Griffin. They are armoured and shielded, so are tough to take down in both melee and from range. I find it's best used to keep them in the front lines to support your troops against stronger enemies. The last lord is the Arch-Lector, and they have the abilities Benediction, Divine Power, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Soulfire, and have the choice of 2 mounts, a Warhorse or a Barded Warhorse. They can cast battle prayers and are also armoured, so aren't too bad in melee either. Again, keep them near your front lines to support units with prayers and leadership bonuses. Onto the heroes now, starting with the Empire Captain. On the campaign map, they have the ability to spread public order in a local province, assault garrisons, wound enemy heroes, and assault units in enemy armies. If embedded in an army, they will train all units, giving them XP per turn, thereby making them better in every way. They are armoured and shielded, so are very tough to take down, as well as having the choice between 3 mounts: a Warhorse, a Barded Warhorse, and an Imperial Pegasus. Finally, they have the abilities Hold the Line and Foe Seeker, and are best used in battle in the front lines assisting troops where needed. Next is the Witch Hunters, and these guys are the assassins of the Empire. They have the campaign abilities of Cleansing Corruption, Damaging Walls, Assassinating enemy heroes, and Blocking enemy armies. When embedded in an army, they increase the amount of loot gained post-battle. They fire armour-piercing missiles as well and having the ability to fire whilst moving. This combined with the duelist ability means that they are excellent at taking down valuable targets such as enemy lords and heroes, as if left alone they can cause huge amounts of damage over time. They don't have any access to mounts, but have the abilities Slippery and Accusation. Warrior Priests are next, and they're pretty much watered down versions of Archlectors. In campaign, they can stimulate growth in the local province, damage buildings, wound heroes, and assault units. When embedded in an army, they increase casualty replenishment rate so armies can get back into the action faster. They're armoured as well as being able to cast battle prayers, so are good for supporting troops in battle. They have the choice of 2 mounts, a Warhorse or a Barded Warhorse. They have the abilities Benediction, Divine Power, Hammer of Sigmar, Shield of Faith, and Soulfire. The Empire can recruit many different types of wizard, with the only difference being the spells they can cast and a single ability, so I'll treat them as one for now. On the campaign map, they can boost income in the local province, steal technology from settlements, wound heroes, and assault units in enemy armies. When embedded in an army, they increase the chances of finding magical items post-battle. They have the choice of 3 mounts, a Warhorse, a Barded Warhorse, and Imperial Pegasus. The Amber Wizard is the only one with access to the Imperial Griffin dismount, and he can cast spells from the Lore of Beasts and has the ability Wild Heart. The Jade Wizard can cast spells from the Lore of Life and has the ability Life Bloom. The Grey Wizard can cast spells from the Lore of Shadows and has the ability Smoke and Mirrors. The Bright Wizard has access to the Lord of Fire and has the ability Kindle Flame. The Celestial Wizard had access to the Lore of Heavens and has the ability Rolling Skies. And finally, the Light Wizard has access to the Lore of Lights and has the ability Exorcism. Side note, if you'd like some videos explaining every lore of magic, let me know by voting in the card, I'd be happy to do that. Thanks for watching this section of my Empire Race Guide. If you want to check out the other parts, there's a link in the card and in the description to the playlist for the series. Don't forget to vote on the poll for the next race you want me to make a guide for, which is linked in the description. If you enjoyed this video at any point, please do consider leaving a like, as it really does help out a lot. And if you want to see more of this type of video, maybe click that subscribe button to stay up to date. After all, it is free. For now though, I was COLONELDAMNEDERS, and I'll see you next time.